Hey, thanks for tuning in to Unfair Sports. While you're here, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate it. All right, Jimmy.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl's going to end, this weekend. At that point, we're done. I need to figure out where I'm going to watch the game. I need to get out the house and go watch that. I can't be stuck in the house not enjoying the Super Bowl. But I guess it's time for the NBA, which is funny. We're doing this right by All-Star Weekend. When is All-Star Weekend? It's next weekend, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, because it's the weekend right after the Super Bowl. So yeah.
This is what's fascinating. Have you noticed that Valentine's Day is this coming weekend? And what always happens around Valentine's weekend? NBA All-Star Weekend. They pushed that shit back because of the Super Bowl. The power of the NFL to kick you out of your own home. They went after them on Christmas. They're going after them on Valentine's Day. I remember going out on Valentine's Day for dinner. We used to always go to a bar and a restaurant we'd always go to and sit in the bar area just so that we could watch the festivities for All-Star Weekend because it's always around Valentine's Day. NFL's taking that too now.
Well, they did. Yes, they don't care about the NBA's feelings, but it's somewhat unintentional because when you add that 18th week to the season, then that pushes it back a week.
You didn't think that was intentional?
No. I mean, they don't care. They don't care about the NBA All-Star Game or their feelings, like I said. But no, that wasn't. They didn't do that with the intention of, hey, we get to take this real estate from the NBA. I don't think so.
Yeah, they did. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why they did. Why this is true. They added an 18th week. They took away preseason games. Why didn't they just replace the preseason game with the first week of the season? Because they wanted to just take more real estate from the NBA. And also the other thing is the other reason why is that is the opening weekend of college football, and they don't want to infringe on college football's opening weekend. So with that being said, that is the exact reason why they pushed it down a week, just so they could steal more from the NBA, the NFL's geniuses. But anywho, there's more drama in the NBA to talk about outside of NFL stealing their stuff.
Yeah. Now that you are joining us on the NBA League Pass train, Jay, we can talk about first with the Lakers, them being the Lakers, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Westbrook, they get a lot of traction as far as what's being talked about, who people pay attention to. So the Lakers, Jay, you may or may not know this, are currently 9th in the West with a 26-28 record and 4-6 in their last 10. LeBron James was hurt with a knee issue, so he missed 5 games. So that was a big part of it. AD has been kind of in and out of the lineup, and Russell Westbrook has played pretty bad basketball for the majority of the season. But they had a game this past Saturday night. It was a feature game against the New York Knicks in L.A., and the game was a really close game, went into overtime. But for that overtime, Russell Westbrook was conspicuously absent yet again in a crucial sequence of the game. The Lakers did go on to win that game, but the only thing anybody wants to talk about after that was Russell Westbrook being benched, which is a conversation that he had to have 2 or 3 weeks ago when something very similar happened. So with how the season has gone so far with Russell Westbrook and maybe the issues that he causes on the floor with the Lakers, especially as we approach the trade deadline, which is this Thursday in the NBA, what do you think the Lakers should do about Russell Westbrook if he remains on the roster after the trade deadline?
The same thing that they've been doing with them. The biggest problem that the Lakers had has been health. Everybody ain't playing. I think is Westbrook, if I'm correct, Westbrook's the only player that's played every game this season.
I believe so. If not every game, just about every game.
Right. That's a problem for your team if you think you're going to win a championship or if you compete for one. You got to have more people playing. Westbrook has played 54 games this season, started 54. He's been there every day. He's been consistent. He's done everything they've asked him of, except for he just can't shoot very well anymore. And we've seen that over the last few years. That's been his decline. His decline is his shooting sucks. He does everything else on the court. His shooting just sucks. Anthony Davis and LeBron James basically said to him that, dog, just keep doing you, and we'll adjust. We'll make it happen. Stop being so concerned about what the outside world is thinking. They may have a master plan here. We may not know. If there's anything I'd say Westbrook needs to do, get better on defense. Play more defense. Focus more on defense. Focus less on shooting. Focus more on defense. Use your athletic ability there. It'll change a lot for everybody, for the team. That's where their problem lies. Is their defense is just bad. But right now, Westbrook, 18, 7, and 7 with 1 steal. He leads all those categories for people that have a minimum of a certain amount of games that have to be played, to count for statistics. Because LeBron's only played 37 games. Anthony Davis only played 33. They're both averaging 29, 23, but Westbrook is basically their leading scorer because he's been there every freaking game. So as much as I want to rail in on how bad he plays and this is that and other, bruh, he's there. So for them, be happy that he's healthy and he's playing. Just find a way to mix him in when you need him.
I heard a local guy this morning, Myron Patton, who does local radio here, and he brought up an interesting point about Russell Westbrook that I'm going to borrow from him because I hadn't thought about this and I hadn't heard anybody else say this. This relates to his shooting difficulties, his inability to get to the hole like he used to, as well as his defensive inefficiencies, which they're bad. They're glaring. He said that maybe part of what this is whether it's age or previous injury, maybe Russell Westbrook, health-wise, lower body, is not what he used to be.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he's a little more hurt than people think, because when you think about shooting itself, people think shooting is from the top down, but it's really from the ground up. As far as your elevation, as far as timing, as far as really generating the power from the floor, from your legs first, through your body, through the shot. So maybe part of what the problem is that, and that also affects him on defense as far as horizontal lateral movement, how he just gets fooled so easily. So maybe the Russell Westbrook issue is more of a health issue than people think. So that's just kind of an interesting idea. I'm not sure about that. But overall, I think the remedy for Russell Westbrook is to do what you've been doing or what you did in those 2 fourth quarter OT games that people talked about, which is to sit him on the bench. I think Russell Westbrook should come off the bench. I think that the Lakers actually have their third guy, their third scorer that they can depend on, who gives them better defense than Russell Westbrook, and that's Malik Monk. So I think that there isn't a need for Russell Westbrook to be in that starting unit anymore. I think it would be easier for him to look more like vintage Westbrook and abuse second units coming off the bench. And maybe you give him some fourth quarter minutes as well. Or if there's an injury, you slide him back into the starting unit, whatever it is you need to do. But I think that he needs to go the way of Carmelo Anthony. And I'm glad Carmelo is on this team because maybe he could help him with this in terms of transitioning to the second unit, at least while he's a Laker. And if he gets moved somewhere else and he wants to start again and he can, okay, that's fine. But I think they need to bring him off the bench. I think that is the answer for a lot of their problems that are Russell Westbrook centric.
It's interesting that you say that. And I don't know what I would see out of what. I mean, the whole reason why they brought him is so that LeBron and them don't have to do as much work on the offensive side. They need someone that's going to be the Energizer Bunny, the spark plug, to go out there and make things happen. And so, I mean, it makes sense. I totally get it. I can't even argue that that's a bad idea. The question is how's Vogel and them going to figure that out? And I guess LeBron would have to be the point guard, even though they play a lot better when LeBron's the center. They're weird. So overall, they'll figure it out. As long as they're healthy, they'll figure it out enough to make it to the playoffs. When they make it to the playoffs, as Westbrook said from the beginning, it's 0-0 at that point. And so at that point, you need to just buckle down. Everyone needs to be healthy. That's the hard part. To me, the Lakers are fighting against health. They're not fighting against themselves. They're fighting against health. If they can get everybody healthy and actually play majority of the season and play through the playoffs, I think they'll be fine. But that's what made them lose against the Suns, is they lost Anthony Davis and basically were done. Because, I mean, LeBron can't do it by himself with a whole bunch of people that, aren't people that can take over like Anthony Davis is supposed to. This is supposed to be Anthony's team. Can't stay healthy. So that's, to me, what they need. So with that...